So, about 15 years ago or so, I one day noticed that my body was different. I would wake up in the morning feeling full. Throughout the day, I would feel full. I couldn't really sense my hunger. I would eat just because I like to eat, but I couldn't really sense my hunger, and my when I did eat, I felt more full. And I went to several doctors about it. My PCP ended up diagnosing me with IBS, with IBS. And she had me sample some medication, and I was too scared to sample it, so I didn't try it, but I don't think it would have worked anyways because after doing more research about my symptoms and the persistent bloating, I discovered um, the diagnosis called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Well, I discovered that on my own after doing my own research and after having seen at least one, maybe two GI doctors. The first GI doctor I didn't follow through on. I was busy, I was working, and it just did. We did an upper GD, EGD, nothing. I was like, okay, well, if we made it that far and you haven't found anything and you have no idea, like you've never seen this before, I don't know. I guess I just kind of gave up on that journey. And then and this was like back in like about 2011, 2010. So wow, 2010 and it's 2026 and I'm still having this problem, but I have to remember where I left off. I got interrupted, but that's okay. Um but yeah, so I went to the second GI doctor, and this man didn't know what to do with me either. And so he prescribes me an anti anxiety medication. I say, you know what? Thanks, but no thanks. I don't need that. And I knew it wasn't in my head. I mean, I know my body. I'm well aware of my body and how it works. And so finally, after doing the research and discovering that there could be something called two things: leaky gut, which I don't even know if that's a diagnosis, and small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. I find another GI doctor. I did some research, um, and if you can imagine, this is 2010, so I don't know if finding stuff on the internet was as easy as it is now. But I find this one GI doctor and I tell him what I think I have, and he has me do a breath test, and it confirms that I have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And I say, okay, yay! Now prescribe me some rifaximin and let's give this a try. I don't remember if he ever gave me the rifaximin. I think he did, but I don't think it worked. And I know he prescribed me erythromycin, and that didn't do nothing either. And so for years, I mean, it's 2026. I've had some relief from on a whim, but it didn't last long. And I've tried these things. There's two things I know that worked. One was a medication, and it landed me in the ER, so I didn't want to try that again. Um, and then it came back. The SIBO, the bloating came back, the symptoms. And then the second medication, oh, the second thing that I tried was fasting, and that actually worked. But now fasting is a little weird for me because my electrolytes run low, and that's a whole battle in itself because electrolytes are really important. And if they're running low, and if I'm already not, if SIBO, if it's true that if you have SIBO, you're not absorbing the nutrients like you're supposed to, then if I'm fasting, then I'm already in a deficit and I have a problem because if my sodium and my potassium is running low, then I'm going to land in the ER because I'm going to be dizzy and I'm going to have symptoms that's telling me that you need to get some electrolytes or you're going to die. So, I mean, hate to say it like that, but it's the truth. And so, fast forward, well, not fast forward, but this is my story. I have been diagnosed with IBS and I've been diagnosed with SIBO, and there is no straightforward way of treating this. And because of this, I personally feel like it has really affected my efforts on my weight loss journey, specifically because it's like if you're not functioning in the norm, we know what the norm is. You eat, you digest, and all of the natural things take its place. You're full a little bit when you eat, the fullness goes away, life goes on. Well, that's not the cycle for me. I wake up, I feel full. Throughout the day, I feel full. I eat, I feel more full. I never really have that sense of, um, oh, gosh, I don't even know how to explain it, but basically, I just feel like I feel full all the time, and I'm grateful that I've done some research recently. I had like stopped doing research because it was just like, you know what, this is just what it's going to be. I'm just going to have to live with this GI dysfunction for a good portion of my life, if not the rest of my life. Um, However, I decided recently to start researching again, and I found people that are trying different things, and some people have found remedies on their own or with functional medicine providers. And by the way, from my understanding, there's just so many doctors who just do not have experience with this, and they're literally throwing darts and hoping that they hit the target. Or even if they have experience, it's still the idea like they're throwing darts based on what they know, but it doesn't work for everyone. And some of the more advanced practitioners are not local to me. I think, what is the name? Cedar Sinai. Dr. Mark Pimentel is actually well versed, and he's seems like he's dedicated his life to this. And he has studies and stuff, but I don't even know how one would get in to see him. So there's that. um, and some people have really worse symptoms than I have. Mine mostly is just bloating, and um, I'm glad I don't have IBSD, which, if you can imagine what IBSD is versus IBSC. So either way, this is my story, and this has been one of the biggest challenges as it relates to my health, my fitness, my mental well being. In one of my previous videos, I talked about negative self talk and how it sabotages you, or it could play the role as a saboteur. If I'm saying this wrong, please just ignore my English. I mess up the English language every now and then. But talk about negative self talk when you have something like a disease or illness that is either chronic or you don't know how to treat, or whatever the case may be. For me, I have a chronic illness that so far none of the doctors that I've seen have been successful at treating them. So, you know, negative or positive self talk goes very far. I will say that there are days that my positive self talk and the illness or the disease, um, or the dysfunctional diagnosis that I have, this GI dysfunction. I don't even know what to call it. This GI dysfunctional diagnosis. When you measure the two against each other, positive self talk, this dysfunction that I'm feeling on a regular basis, I'm not gonna lie, the dysfunction wins and the positive self talk just goes out the window. And I'm just like, I just don't know. However, every day is a new day and we get new grace every single day. And so every day I choose to find a way to just push through because, I mean, hey, it is what it is right now, but I have hope that things can change. And in the process, I still have to choose to take care of myself. I can't give up on me. I have to keep pushing forward. And I have to believe and trust that something is going to come about. Something good is going to happen. And so that's kind of where I stand right now. But it has been one of my biggest struggles over the last 15 years, honestly. And there are times that just working out is difficult because my stomach is bloated, it's distended. It's like I can't do some of the regular things that you would do without feeling feeling very uncomfortable. But to anyone out there who can relate, I am sorry. But I'm not going to say I'm sorry. I'm grateful that there are practitioners who have advanced in the knowledge of this in knowledge in this area, and that there is some hope. Um, but as we're on our fitness journeys, and for the people who can relate to me and have the same problem where they feel like it's like, how can you target one thing when you're dealing with something else? Um, yeah, I mean, it's a doozy. It really is. And I really don't have any other words other than that. And for that reason, I just really try to give myself grace and trust the process and trust that something good will happen and just love myself regardless, because that's all I could do. So today's video was just a share. It's just a story and a share about is me sharing one of the biggest struggles I've had on this journey, generally speaking. And unfortunately, it's been 15 years of having this struggle. And I will say, I mean, I've heard people say, and I've actually experienced this when you do like a carnivore diet, um, you can see a difference. And I've actually experienced this a couple years ago. And I don't know, lately I've just struggled with the carnivore diet. So I haven't been able to see that difference. I haven't been able to see that change. Like I said, I plan on going back to the GI doctor and trying some things out again, and seeing if there's enough new information and ways to treat this that may be a little more practical. Um, I have some things, the list of things I'm going to explore whether or not the doctors can help me or doctor. But yeah, I just really wanted to talk about that today, partly because today my energy was a little bit on the low side as it relates to just this journey of just health. I mean, it's just really a journey of health. I mean, of course, I want to lose weight. I want to see a difference in my body. I want to see the fat I want to burn more fat and build more muscle. But, I can't let that be the focus, because if that's the focus, I would give up. If that's the focus and I'm like, oh, I want to be cut and lean and yada, 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 I would have given up a long time ago. My longevity and health is more important than anything. So if you can relate to this, feel free to leave a comment, hit like, and subscribe if you want to hear more stories. Or, today was a sad one, but it's not going to be like this all the time. Um, but this is just something that is vulnerable to me, and it really affects the quality of life. And for those out there struggling with this, I feel you. You're not alone. Thank you so much for watching.